At $0, a restaurant is not a place to eat. It is a border you cannot cross. You stand outside the thick glass, looking at the warm light spilling onto the cold pavement. The host makes eye contact with you. The professional smile instantly drops. You are not a potential customer. You are security risk, a variable that needs to be removed. The manager taps the glass. The message is clear. Keep moving. You adjust your worn collar, look down at your scuffed shoes, and step back into the shadows. Because hunger at $0 isn't just an appetite, it's an alarm clock ringing in your stomach that you can't hit snooze on. You walk past the exhaust vents, smelling roasted garlic that wasn't meant for you. You swallow the taste of nothing and keep walking. Level 2, $20. You walk into a brightly lit fast casual chain. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, designed to keep you awake. Not comfortable. You squint, feeling the harsh, unforgiving reality of cheap spaces. The cashier doesn't look at your face. They look at your hands to see how you're paying. You swipe your debit card. You hold your breath until the machine beeps, approved. Your shoulders drop a fraction of an inch. You survived another meal. You are not a name here. You are simply order number 42. The plastic tray they hand you is slightly sticky. The chairs are bolted to the floor. The architecture itself is telling you not to stay long. You stare at your paper cup, listening to the chaotic, screaming noise of the kitchen. A janitor aggressively mops the floor inches from your shoes. The system is designed for volume. Eat quickly and leave the seat for the next $20 bill. Level 3, $100. You enter a mid-tier casual dining restaurant. Real ceramic plates, heavy metal silverware, cloth napkins. You touch the cloth napkin, feeling a slight upgrade in your social standing. The host smiles, but it's the smile they give to everyone. It is factory calibrated. You are seated immediately, right next to the swinging kitchen doors and the restroom. You flinch as a waiter kicks the door open, a blast of hot kitchen air hitting your neck. Your waiter introduces himself. His enthusiasm feels rehearsed, driven entirely by the prospect of a 15% tip. He drops a damp, laminated menu on the table. He asks if you want to start with a $14 appetizer. You do the mental math. If you get the appetizer, you can't get the drink. You politely decline. The waiter's smile tightens just a fraction of an inch. He writes nothing down and walks away to a bigger table. You sit with your empty water glass, realizing something. At $100, you are simply buying the illusion of service. Level 4, $500. You step into a classic, dimly lit steakhouse. The lighting is golden. The air smells like expensive cigars and browned butter. You stand a little taller. The environment demands better posture. The host actually looks you in the eye. They ask to take your coat. You are no longer a nuisance. You are a target. You notice the shift. You feel the weight of their attention. Your waiter doesn't hand you a menu. He gives you a theatrical performance. He presents a raw, marbled Wagyu steak like it's a newborn child. You nod sagely, pretending you know the difference between dry-aged and grain-finished. They pour your water from a heavy glass bottle, not a plastic pitcher. The sommelier arrives. The wine list weighs as much as a college textbook. You sweat slightly. You point to the second cheapest bottle so you don't look cheap. The sommelier gives a micro nod of mild disappointment, but pours it with perfect grace. At this level, you are paying for the right to feel important for exactly 90 minutes. Level 5, $2,000. Welcome to the Michelin star experience. The noise drops completely. The tables are spaced 12 feet apart. You whisper, afraid your normal speaking voice might break the acoustic perfection of the room. Food is no longer fuel. Food is now a conceptual art project. The chef plates your first course using a pair of giant surgical tweezers. You squint through a magnifying glass trying to locate the actual calories on the plate. A waiter in a tailored suit approaches with a rare white truffle and a silver shaver. He starts shaving it over your dish. He doesn't stop. He waits for you to say when. You realize every flick of his wrist costs $40. Panic sets in. You finally say, stop. The waiter gives you a look that says you stopped too early. The check arrives in a polished wooden box. You drop your matte black metal card without looking at the itemized list. Looking is a sign of weakness. Level 6, $50,000. You don't use the front door anymore. You are guided through an unmarked entrance, past towering, floor-to-ceiling racks of vintage wine. You pull up your collar, feeling like you're joining a secret society just to eat dinner. You enter a private dining room. No windows, no other guests. Complete isolation. The menu handed to you is printed on heavy textured cardstock. It has no prices. You trace your finger over the blank spaces. If you have to ask what the lobster costs, you shouldn't be sitting here. The general manager checks on you 3 times, calling you sir with a slight bow. They remember that you are left-handed. Your silverware is already reversed before you sit down. You look under the table, wondering if they've bugged your house. The restaurant isn't just serving you, they are studying you. Every preference is logged into a database. You are a profile they are optimizing. Level 7, $500,000. You no longer make reservations. You are the reservation. You casually walk past the regular millionaires waiting at the bar. You have a dedicated corner booth. It sits empty all night unless you show up. The waiter doesn't bring a menu. He just stands politely and asks, "The usual?" You smile and nod. Your usual involves bluefin tuna caught in Japan yesterday and flown in this morning. The owner of the restaurant pulls up a chair, uninvited. He doesn't ask how the food tastes. He asks about your investment portfolio. You hand him a business card wrapped in a cloth napkin, looking slightly exhausted. At $500,000, dinner isn't dinner. It's a boardroom meeting with better appetizers. The people around you aren't diners. They are networking opportunities wearing Rolexes. Level 8, $5 million. The concept of operating hours ceases to exist. Your private flight lands at 2 a.m. You want a ribeye. The chefs fire up massive stoves specifically for your arrival. You sit alone in the center of a completely empty, darkened dining hall. 5 staff members stand silently against the wall, watching you take every single bite. You look around. You realize that extreme wealth is incredibly quiet. There is no background noise, no laughter from other tables, just the clinking of your own fork. The executive chef comes out just to explain the emotional journey of the cow you are currently eating. You nod, but your eyes glaze over. You aren't really listening. You are paying a premium for an experience that feels closer to a museum exhibit than a meal. Level 9, $20 million. You don't go to the restaurant comes to you. You sit in a fluffy bathrobe on the deck, completely unfazed. A 3 Michelin star chef steps out, ready to sweat in your private galley. The sommelier flew in from Paris just to open a bottle of wine older than your parents. You barely look up from your iPad when they place a massive ice sculpture of caviar in front of you. To them, it is a culinary masterpiece. To you, it is just Tuesday. At this level, food is no longer about taste or status or networking. It is about power. The power to bend time, space, and entire institutions to your exact specifications. You pick up your heavy silver fork. You take a slow bite. You chew in perfect, uninterrupted silence, staring out at the empty ocean. And yet, for a split second, your mind drifts back. You remember sitting in that brightly lit fast food joint, eating a cheap burger, laughing with friends over a sticky table. You look at the massive, perfectly set dining table with completely empty chairs across from you. The food got infinitely better. But you kind of miss the noise. Because the truth is, the higher you climb, the less it's about the meal. You stare at your reflection in a silver cloche dome, wealthy but completely alone. It's just about the illusion of control and the distance between you and the rest of the world. It needs salt. You whisper to no one. Instantly, 3 waiters parachute from a passing plane holding sea salt grinders. You just can't escape the service.